There is a continent where time doesn't simply move forward, it coils back into circles of memory. Where the ancient isn't buried, but still alive, in stone, in temples, and in the eyes of its people. Where nature isn't still, but roars through volcanoes, breathes deep in the jungle, and melts slowly through icy rivers. This is the Americas. A land of beginnings, kishin, and unhealed fractures. From forgotten civilizations to cities born of hope and exile. Every landscape has a soul. Every soul, a legend waiting to be told. And this journey is your key to unlocking 1,000 worlds hidden within one continent. So tell me, where will you begin? With the echoes of Machu Picchu, the salt flats that mirror the sky, or the streets where salsa and sorrow dance hand in hand. Come with me, from north to south, across 20 untold stories, 20 heartbeats sync to the rhythm of this land. Your compass is curiosity. The map, rewritten with every step. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share video. And now, the journey begins. In the 15th century, high in the sky-piercing Andes, the Inca Empire rose to become one of the greatest civilizations ever to emerge in the Americas. Combining advanced engineering with a profound belief in harmony between humanity and nature, the Incas built agricultural terraces, roads, and stone architecture that still defy the passage of time. Yet their greatest legacy is not just the stone cities like Machu Picchu or the fortress of Sacsayhuaman. It is their sacred connection to Pachamama, Mother Earth. That spirit lives on in every traditional festival, family meal, and agricultural ritual still practiced across the highlands of Peru. Here, every valley, lake, or mountain peak is more than a natural wonder. It is a sacred entity, a dwelling place of ancestral deities. The local people do not merely live alongside nature, they live within it, listening, respecting, and protecting its soul. Peru, located along the western coast of South America and bordered by the Pacific Ocean, is a land where geography, climate, culture, and cuisine intersect in fascinating ways. With a history rooted in ancient civilizations like the Inca, Peru possesses a rich and compelling cultural identity. The majestic Andes Mountains run north to south, dividing the country into distinct climatic regions: arid coastal plains, cold highlands, eastern valleys, and the lush Amazon rainforest. Though not one of the world's largest countries by area, Peru ranks among the most climatically diverse, home to 13 of the 32 global climate zones, just behind the US, China, and India. This diversity allows travelers to experience drastically different landscapes within a single journey, from scorching deserts to icy peaks and steamy jungles. Geographically, Peru borders Ecuador and Colombia to the north, Brazil to the east, and Bolivia and Chile to the south. Rich in natural resources, from minerals and crops to marine life, Peru has built its economy around these for centuries. Today, with 12 UNESCO World Heritage Sites and 84 of the world's 117 recognized life zones, Peru is a global magnet for tourism. The official language is Spanish, but Peru also preserves 47 indigenous languages, most notably Quechua and Aymara. These are still widely spoken in the highlands and carry deep cultural significance. In tourist hubs like Lima, Cusco, or Huacachina, English is generally understood, though learning a few basic Spanish phrases is always helpful for daily interactions. For travelers, packing for multiple climates is essential. Bring shorts, long pants, a warm jacket, a raincoat, a hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and sturdy walking shoes. Because weather varies sharply across regions, it's important to check local forecasts before setting off. Peru uses 220 volts electricity at 60 Hz, with plug types A, B, and C being common. The official currency is the sol. While US dollars may be accepted in some tourist spots, the exchange rate is often unfavorable, so using local currency is recommended. Bargaining is a useful skill in markets and with street vendors. Tipping is not mandatory in Peru, but it is appreciated in upscale restaurants and guided tours. Transportation in Peru is varied, including taxis, Uber, tuk-tuks, buses, and colectivos, shared minibuses. Visitors can also rent cars or motorbikes for more flexibility. Domestic flights are common, such as Lima to Cusco, which takes about an hour. Peru is a dream destination for all kinds of travelers, solo adventurers, couples, families, and friend groups alike. Still, not every attraction is worth the visit, so researching your route, arriving early, and choosing the right season are key to avoiding tourist traps. Some services are budget-friendly compared to Western standards, while others require a more generous budget. Planning carefully for flights, accommodations, transport, meals, and activities will help optimize your trip. With its remarkable diversity in nature, culture, and history, Peru is never a dull place. From ancient Inca ruins and snow-capped peaks to vibrant local markets, every corner of this land holds a story waiting to be discovered. The journey through Peru begins in the arid Ica Desert of southern Peru, where Huacachina emerges like a living mirage, a fairy tale oasis hidden among golden dunes that stretch endlessly to the horizon. Unlike the desolate image often associated with deserts, this is a lush refuge, a natural lagoon fringed with swaying palm trees, colonial-style buildings, and echoes of time. According to local legend, the lagoon at the heart of Huacachina was formed from the tears of an Inca maiden who wept for her fallen lover lost in war. One moonlit night, as a stranger caught sight of her sorrow, she dove into the waters to hide and transformed into a mermaid who still lives beneath the surface. Have you ever heard a love story so hauntingly beautiful and then seen it brought to life through nature itself? To this day, locals believe that on full moon nights, the mermaid returns, silently weeping under the silver sky, casting an otherworldly shimmer upon the water. But Huacachina is more than legend. It is a living testament to resilience and harmony between human life and nature. In the 1960s, this oasis was a glamorous retreat for Peru's elite, with villas, spas, and a lakeside promenade. Today, travelers come not just to relax, but to embrace adventure. Sandboarding down towering dunes, racing across the desert in dune buggies, and watching the sun spill amber and gold across the still waters. Huacachina is small, just a few streets, and a handful of residents, but its spirit is strong and defiant. Every home faces sand, wind, and time, yet shines with sunlight and hospitality. There are hammocks swinging gently in the breeze, soft guitar melodies drifting from cafes, and an atmosphere both romantic and free. The lagoon is fed by underground aquifers, allowing native vegetation to flourish in the desert, making Huacachina one of the few true oases still alive in South America. Carob trees, eucalyptus, and date palms thrive here, protected by local communities and conservation efforts. When dusk falls, the sky fades into deep reds and oranges, and the desert sinks into a wild dream. That is when Huacachina is at its most magical, beautiful in a way that eludes cameras and can only be felt in a quiet soul. And in that silence, one cannot help but wonder, did something mythical truly happen here? Stretching along the Pacific coast, Lima is where the grandeur of the Inca passed, and Spanish colonial legacy intertwined with modern rhythms, creating a capital city steeped in culture and complexity. Founded in 1535 by Francisco Pizarro, Lima was not only the power center of the colonial era, but also the beating heart of an independent Peru after 1821. Did you know it was once known as the City of Kings, serving as the capital of the vast viceroyalty of Peru for nearly 3 centuries? Even before the Incas arrived, this land was home to ancient civilizations like Corral Supa, the oldest urban culture in the Americas, renowned for its earthen pyramids and sophisticated social organization. At Huaca Pucllana, nestled in today's modern Miraflores district, one can still walk atop the adobe pyramid built over 1,500 years ago. Isn't it astonishing that such a sacred relic stands among the high-rises of a bustling city? Lima also connects to the Inca Empire through the Chapacñan road system, which leads to Pachacamac, an important pilgrimage center for both pre-Inca and Inca peoples. Even after conquest, the Incas preserved its sanctity, incorporating it into their empire by building new temples, including one dedicated to the sun god. Following the Spanish conquest, Lima quickly became the administrative, economic, and religious hub of colonial South America. The San Francisco Monastery, Lima Cathedral, and Torre Tegel Palace remain vivid reminders of this golden era of colonial architecture. Step into these structures, and can one not feel the echo of history within the stone archways and cool tiled floors? With the founding of the University of San Marcos in 1551, the oldest university in the Americas, Lima also established itself as the intellectual center of the colonial world. Over the centuries, the city played a vital role in Peru's fight for independence, and during the War of the Pacific, it was even occupied by Chilean forces. Today, Lima offers a layered beauty, at once historic and vibrant. Neighborhoods like Miraflores and Barranco are not only artistic and culinary hotspots, but also offer sweeping views of the Pacific Ocean. From atop the cliffs, as ocean breezes roll in and the sun dips below the horizon, one feels suspended between past and present in a moment of stillness. Lima is also the culinary capital of South America. From traditional dishes like ceviche and papa a la huancaína to Michelin-starred restaurants, the city has become a global gastronomic icon. Are you ready to taste the tangy, citrus-kissed flavor of raw fish cured in lime, a dish Peruvians proudly consider their national soul? Beneath its modern face, Lima is a city that knows how to tell stories. Every stone in its colonial plazas, every flavor at the table, and every ocean breeze from the west carries ancient memories, ready to speak if one knows how to listen. And if one truly wishes to listen to Lima with all five senses, let Miraflores be the next chapter in that journey of discovery. Like an emerald ribbon embracing the edge of the Pacific, Miraflores reveals a Lima that is both cosmopolitan and steeped in memory. The salty breeze from the ocean mingles with the rich aroma of coffee drifting from leafy cafes tucked beneath the trees of Parque Kennedy, a welcome that feels both fresh and familiar. From the meandering Malecón that hugs the cliffs to Parque del Amor, where the sculpture El Beso stands in timeless embrace, every corner of Miraflores whispers a quiet charm rarely found elsewhere. It's hard to imagine that beneath the modern elegance of this district lies a battlefield, a front line during the War of the Pacific, when Lima bore the name La Ciudad Heroica, the heroic city. The echoes of resistance and devotion to homeland still linger silently in the earth, where the ancient adobe pyramid Huaca Pucllana rises solemnly, keeping watch over the stories of a long-lost civilization. Could one have guessed that what was once a seaside retreat for Lima's elite in the early 20th century would become the city's liveliest hub? The transformation of Miraflores began with the construction of Avenida Arequipa, forging a direct link to the historic center. Then came the Via Expressa and Costa Verde, launching the district into its vibrant, contemporary life. Today, Miraflores stands not just as the heart of Lima's tourism, but as a haven of refined gastronomy, urban art, and a relaxed yet sophisticated rhythm of life. At Larcomar, perched dramatically on the cliffside, a cocktail at sunset becomes a luxurious ritual. Where else might elegance and intimacy feel so effortlessly intertwined? This isn't merely a destination, it's a living chapter in Peru's unfolding cultural narrative. Further inland, tucked along the Inca Trail leading to Machu Picchu, stands Inti Punku, the Sun Gate, a sacred portal once reserved for pilgrims entering the heart of the Inca world. Built in the 15th century during the height of the Inca Empire, this stone gateway once served as the official checkpoint for those permitted to enter Machu Picchu, the sacred city nestled in the clouds of the Andes. More than just a structure, Inti Punku was seen as a spiritual threshold, where each pilgrim believed they were leaving the earthly world behind to step into a higher, sacred realm. Its location was no accident. The Incas aligned Inti Punku with precision to capture the first rays of sunlight during the winter solstice, a moment of deep spiritual significance in Inca cosmology, symbolizing rebirth, light, and the divine power of the sun god Inti. When the morning sun passes through the stone gate and bathes Machu Picchu below, it is not merely a natural occurrence, but a cosmic ritual, a message from the gods to humankind. Strategically, Inti Punku also served as a military and administrative checkpoint. From this vantage point, Inca guards could observe trails, valleys, and ancient roads connecting Machu Picchu with the rest of the Tahuantinsuyo, the Empire of the Four Quarters. Only the chosen were allowed to pass, and doing so was often a sacred journey, a demonstration of devotion to the gods and the empire. More than an archaeological site, Inti Punku represents the profound connection between heaven and earth, between humans and the divine forces of the universe. It is here that the Incas wove their spiritual harmony with the cosmos, leaving behind a legacy that defies time, a testament to their brilliance, faith, and the enduring vision of a civilization that once flourished across the Andes. Perched between two rugged peaks of the Andes, Machu Picchu is more than an architectural marvel. It is a stone symphony of history, spirituality, and celestial knowledge crafted by the Inca Empire. The name Machu Picchu, meaning Old Mountain in Quechua, may sound definitive, but to this day, no one truly knows what the Incas originally called it. Built in the 15th century during the height of Inca power, many scholars believe it was not a public city, but a royal estate belonging to Emperor Pachacuti. Machu Picchu was never discovered by the Spanish conquistadors, a rare stroke of fate that allowed it to remain almost entirely intact, unlike other Inca sites that suffered destruction. When explorer Hiram Bingham discovered the site in 1911, he believed he had found the lost city of Vilcabamba, but he was mistaken. That wasn't his destination. Yet, the name the Lost City has become forever associated with Machu Picchu, even though, at the time of his arrival, 3 local farming families were still living among its ruins. Its stonework continues to amaze modern engineers. Massive granite blocks carved and fitted so precisely, without mortar, that not even a blade of grass can slip between them. This wasn't just for aesthetics. Peru lies in a seismic zone, and the Incas' ingenious living joints allowed structures to sway and settle back into place during earthquakes. Beneath those majestic walls lies an even greater unseen marvel. Nearly 60% of Machu Picchu's construction is underground, composed of deep foundations and drainage systems that have protected it for centuries. Despite frequent heavy rains, the site has suffered remarkably little damage, thanks to a sophisticated underground drainage design that predates even Roman aqueducts. From an astronomical perspective, Machu Picchu functions as a vast observatory. Among its most iconic features is the Intihuatana, a ritual stone designed to tie the sun during solstice ceremonies. At the winter solstice, the rising sun aligns perfectly with the Intihuatana, revealing the Incas' extraordinary celestial knowledge. Beyond architecture, Machu Picchu reveals a spiritual path. Some scholars suggest it marked the final destination of a sacred pilgrimage, echoing myths of the first Inca emerging from Lake Titicaca. In that sense, the Inca Trail wasn't merely a route, it was a symbolic rite of purification, culminating in the awe-inspiring emergence of Machu Picchu from the mist. From the Sun Gate, Inti Punku, modern travelers still experience that same sacred vision at dawn, watching the ancient citadel bathed in golden morning light, just as the Incas once did. On top of Huayna Picchu, a stone arrow points directly to Mount Salcante, one of the Incas' most sacred apus, or mountain deities, proving that every placement here held spiritual meaning. Yet many mysteries remain. Wander farther beyond the core ruins, and you'll find faded trails disappearing into the cloud forest. Leading to where? No one knows for sure. Even in 2011, new terraces and staircases were uncovered and opened, proving Machu Picchu is still revealing itself, one layer at a time. Huayna Picchu hides its own secret too, the Temple of the Moon, carved within a cave, thought to be a site of sacred burials. Each day, just 400 visitors are allowed to ascend Huayna Picchu, a journey into the clouds where every step feels like a sacred ascent. But one doesn't need a luxury train ticket to arrive. You can still hike up the original 1911 path, retracing history one stone at a time. Perhaps the most astonishing fact? The Inca built it all without iron tools, wheels, or draft animals. To this day, Machu Picchu remains a riddle in the sky, each stone a page in an ancient book, waiting for those quiet and patient enough to listen to the whispers of a lost civilization. But beyond the clouds and ruins, the Sacred Valley still holds other secrets. Follow the winding roads eastward, and the mountains begin to open, revealing surreal landscapes where salt blooms in terraces carved by hand. This is Maris, where time glistens in white, and the earth, once again, speaks in silence. With more than 3,000 terraced salt pools, this is one of the world's most spectacular ancient salt harvesting systems, dating back to before the Inca period. Perched at an altitude of nearly 10,000 feet in the Andes, Mars appears like a vast snowy landscape shimmering under the highland sun. Unlike most salt fields near the sea, Maris is fed by an underground saltwater spring called Corapugio, believed to originate from an ancient seabed uplifted by tectonic movements. That spring has flowed quietly for millennia, feeding each individual salt pond. As the water evaporates, Pure white salt slowly crystallizes into gleaming layers. Each salt pond covers about 54 square feet and is around 12 inches deep, hand-dug, and passed down through generations of local families. Corripugio is not only salty but also warm, which accelerates the crystallization process and allows salt to be harvested year-round, a rare advantage at this altitude. From May to October, during the dry season, the salt is harvested manually with wooden tools, an arduous but deeply traditional process. Mara salt is not only flavorful, but visually stunning, with its soft pink hue that comes from natural minerals such as iron and calcium. Today, this pink salt is exported worldwide and prized by renowned chefs for its purity and distinctive taste. But beyond a product, Mara salt is the crystallization of ancestral knowledge, preserved as a living soul of the land. Studies suggest the salt ponds date back to the Chanapada culture, 200 to 900 CE, making them older than the Inca Empire itself. The ancient water channels, crafted from earth and stone, still function with astonishing precision, impressing even modern engineers. Maris is a testament to the harmony between humans and nature, where locals harvest only what is needed, keeping the system sustainable across generations. The way the ponds are divided is unique. Each family owns one or several pools, and rights are inherited over time. Culturally rich and visually breathtaking, the Maris landscape dazzles with its bright white salt pools against a backdrop of blue skies and rugged mountains. At sunset, the salt pans reflect the fading light like mirrors, creating a surreal, almost otherworldly scene. To visit the salt ponds, travelers pay just 10 Peruvian soles, a small fee that directly supports the local community. But Maras is more than just salt. Nearby lies the quaint town of Maras, with cobbled streets, adobe houses, and distinctive Spanish colonial architecture. At its center stands the Church of San Francisco de Asís, home to rare paintings of the Cusqueña school, a colonial religious art heritage. Along the main street, many houses date back to the 17th century, bearing carved symbols on stone doorways that record the names of past owners. To visit Maras is not only to admire, but to rediscover a 1,000-year-old legacy that still thrives and proves its value to this day. In a fast-paced world, the salt ponds of Maris remind us that patience, craftsmanship, and respect for nature are keys to enduring wisdom. Like an ancient gatekeeper at the eastern entrance of the sacred valley, Pisac rises as a stone epic, where time slows down, and the memory of the Andes still whispers through each terrace step. Before the powerful Inca Empire emerged, this fertile land was home to pre-Inca cultures such as the Chanapada, whose traces of settlement date back to around 800 BCE. Fragments of pottery, remnants of ancient cultivation, and tombs carved deep into the cliffs bear witness to Pisac's enduring role as a sacred sanctuary of the human spirit in the heart of the Andes. In the 15th century, under the reign of Emperor Pachacuti, Pisac was reborn as a strategic fortress, a ceremonial center, and a masterpiece of agricultural and astronomical engineering. The terraces, carved into the steep slopes, serve not only for farming, but also as a symbol of harmony between humanity and the cosmos, a stone liturgy of fertility and prosperity. At the heart of the complex, the Temple of the Sun stood as the spiritual center of Pisac, where Inca priests observed celestial movements and adjusted ritual calendars based on astronomical phenomena. The tombs at Tantamarca, hollowed into sheer cliffs, reflect the belief that the dead must be elevated closer to the sun to continue their journey alongside the sacred Apis. After the Spanish conquest in the 1530s, Pisac was ravaged, its temples desecrated, its tombs looted, and its ancestral songs buried under weeds and silence. By the late 16th century, a new colonial town was built at the foot of the mountain, while ancient Pisac sank into a long slumber, waiting to be awakened by future generations. From the late 19th century onward, archaeologists and travelers began lifting the veil of time, reviving Pisac as a majestic witness of the Inca Empire, a place where engineering, belief, and sacred nature converge. But to fully understand the depth of Andean civilization, one must journey further south, toward the sun-drenched coastal deserts and the cliffs overlooking the Pacific Ocean, where the Paracas culture once flourished, centuries before the rise of the Inca. There, between white sands and the blue sea, a mysterious society left behind an unforgettable legacy through intricately preserved mummies, masterfully embroidered textiles, and a sacred worldview interwoven with earth, sky, and ocean. Located along the southern coast of Peru, Paracas is a semi-desert region known for its wild natural beauty and towering cliffs that face the Pacific. Not only renowned for the Paracas National Reserve and the Ballestas Islands, this region was also the cradle of one of the most brilliant ancient civilizations of South America, the Paracas culture. This culture flourished from around 700 BCE to 200 CE, leaving a profound legacy through its refined textile craftsmanship, complex burial systems, and astonishing cranial surgery techniques. Much of what we know today comes from the excavations at the Huaricayan necropolis, led by Peruvian archaeologist Julio C. Tello in the 1920s. With a strategic location near the sea, adjacent to fertile valleys, and along important trade routes crossing the Andes, Paracas was once a political, spiritual, and economic center in pre-Inca times. The Paracas culture is divided into two major phases: Paracas caverns and Paracas necropolis, distinguished by their burial methods and funerary rituals. In the Paracas caverns phase, the dead were buried in inverted bowl-shaped pits, along with food offerings like maize, beans, and cassava, reflecting both their agricultural life and spiritual practices. In the Paracas necropolis phase, the dead were intricately mummified and placed in wicker baskets, then wrapped in multiple layers of finely embroidered textiles. They were transformed into burial bundles stretching up to 66 feet in length. These bundles were not just burial objects, but extraordinary works of art, considered the pinnacle of pre-Columbian textile production across the Americas. The Paracas mummies were preserved using a mixture of lime, ground chili, salt, muña flowers, and tree resin, then shrunk with heat and tightly wrapped in layers of cotton and precious cloth. Paracas people possessed advanced medical knowledge, particularly in cranial trepanation, a surgical technique used to treat trauma, tumors, or intracranial pressure with surprisingly high survival rates. They used coca leaves as anesthesia, chicha alcohol as antiseptic, and sharp obsidian tools for surgical procedures. A distinctive practice was cranial deformation, where children's heads were bound to elongate the skull, a custom believed to hold aesthetic, religious, or class distinction meanings. In terms of religion, Paracas people worshipped hybrid creatures, part human, part animal, such as felines, snakes, and whales, often depicted in embroidered motifs and pottery. They believed in a three-level cosmos: the earth, called Pachamama, air, and water realms where spirits resided, each represented by totemic animals. Their embroidered textiles often depicted half-human, half-animal shamans, symbolizing supernatural powers and the ability to travel between worlds. Their society followed a theocratic structure where priests held knowledge of astronomy, agriculture, and rituals, exercising both religious and political authority. The upper classes included warrior nobles and clergy, while most of the population were farmers who served with deep spiritual devotion. Paracas architecture, though sparse in remains, used small conical adobe bricks, typically in ceremonial buildings and sunken courtyards. In valleys such as Chincha, researchers discovered interconnected ceremonial complexes aligned by straight lines, geoglyphs, and orientations toward the sun. In the arid desert conditions, they built sophisticated irrigation systems, drawing water from afar using underground channels and springs. A unique farming method was huachak, removing dry topsoil to access subsoil moisture, transforming desert into arable fields. They also use guano, seabird droppings from offshore islands, as fertilizer, boosting yields of crops such as cotton, lima beans, and maize. Living by the ocean, Paracas people were also skilled fishermen and supplemented their diet with seafood and sea lions. They developed maritime trade networks using wooden rafts to reach the Andes, where they exchanged cotton, salt, and seafood for wool, dyes, and coca leaves. In textile arts, Paracas reached astonishing refinement, using vicuña, alpaca, cotton, bird feathers, and natural dyes to create thousands of detailed motifs. Their color palettes blended harmoniously: red, blue, yellow, black, and white, featuring human, animal, geometric, and even ritual scenes. The most outstanding pieces are the funerary mantles, now housed in major museums around the world: Lima, New York, Berlin, and more. Their pottery typically took the form of double-spout vessels with a bridge handle, painted with vivid motifs of fish, snakes, birds, and anthropomorphic figures, reflecting Chavin influence from the highlands. Taken as a whole, Paracas stands as a vibrant testimony to the fusion of art, religion, science, and nature, a pinnacle of ancient Peruvian civilization that time has not erased. And not far from there, as a plane flies over the arid highlands of southern Peru, the sun-scorched hues of rock and sand suddenly give way to strange geoglyphs, white lines sketching an otherworldly realm upon the desert floor, the Nazca lines. Why the Nazca lines are among Peru's greatest mysteries. From the ground, they seem like meaningless scratches. But from above, they reveal distinct geometric patterns: trapezoids, spirals, zigzags, triangles, And most strikingly, massive figures of animals such as hummingbirds, spiders, and monkeys. Known as one of the greatest mysteries of world archaeology, the Nazca Lines have captured human imagination for over 80 years. With more than 800 straight lines, 300 geometric shapes, and around 70 biomorphic figures, they stretch across the plains near the modern town of Nazca, over 320 kilometers southeast of Lima. Some drawings are monumental in scale, up to 1,200 feet long, rivaling the height of the Empire State Building. The lines were created by removing the dark, oxidized surface stones to reveal the lighter soil beneath, a simple yet remarkably enduring technique. Thanks to the hyper-arid climate, with less than 1 inch of annual rainfall, the geoglyphs have remained virtually untouched, preserved for 500 to 2,000 years. Peruvian archaeologist Toribio Mejia Gespe was the first to systematically study the lines in 1926, but it wasn't until pilots flew over the region in the 1930s that their full scale was revealed to the world. American professor Paul Kosak observed that one line aligned perfectly with the setting sun during the winter solstice, calling Nazca the largest astronomy book in the world. After Kosak came Maria Rika, the lady of the Nazca Lines, who devoted over 4 decades to studying and protecting the geoglyphs, even living near the desert to monitor them directly. These figures belong to the category of geoglyphs, images etched into the earth by clearing rocks to create color contrast and visible forms. Theories about their purpose vary widely. Astronomical calendars, sacred maps, ritual pathways linked to water and fertility. Animal figures, like the spider, hummingbird, and monkey, held spiritual meaning in Andean culture, symbolizing water, fertility, and the cycle of life. The Nazca Lines are not merely desert drawings. They are the imprint of ancient intelligence, a fusion of astronomy, belief, and the environment etched onto the silent page of the desert. From the colossal drawings etched into the Nazca Desert, messages carved into the earth, and sent skyward, Peru leads us to another equally surreal spectacle, a mountain painted like a dream. Like a ribbon dyed by time and minerals, Rainbow Mountain, Vinicunca, unfurls across the heart of the Andes as a geological marvel. Perched near Cusco at an altitude of 17,060 feet, it turns each step of the ascent into both a test of endurance and a journey through the surreal. Known as the Mountain of Seven Colors, it owes its vibrant bands to stratified mineral deposits, each layer forming distinct, natural hues. What greets the visitor is a sinuous range painted in pink, red, green, blue, yellow, white, and brown, like a fossilized rainbow draped across the Andes. These extraordinary colors trace their origin to geological processes spanning millions of years. Sediment and mineral layers once resting on ancient ocean floors were gradually compressed, uplifted by tectonic movements, and sculpted into this unique structure. The red tones come from iron oxide-rich rock, green from ferromagnesian phyllite, pink from a mix of clay, siltstone, and sand. Bright whites are due to calcium carbonate and stones like quartz and sandstone. Yellows result from iron sulfides and blues from claystone compounds and magnesium-rich minerals. Each colored layer represents a different geological era, naturally stacked by time, then highlighted and fixed by high-altitude weathering and oxidation in the dry, cold climate. Until 2015, Vinicunca remained buried beneath thick snow year-round, hidden from the world. Only as climate change began melting the ice and retreating the permafrost did this mountain slowly reveal itself, glowing under the Andean sun. Geologists believe it took more than 65 million years of tectonic shifts and environmental transformation to create this natural marvel. Though it may appear dreamlike, Vinicunca is no human creation. It is a pure masterpiece of nature. At over 16,400 feet, it sits above the Andean Plateau, where thin air and frigid temperatures preserve the mineral layers in vivid clarity, free from rapid erosion. From afar, the mountain resembles a flowing watercolor painting. But up close, its layers appear like slices of geological time, each stripe a sediment chapter carved into stone. Unlike any other mountain, Vinicunca does not wear a single hue, but displays a living spectrum, a chromatic archive of the Earth's story. Each band of color is a chapter in the planet's timeline, from ancient seabeds to rising continents, now laid bare under a cold and windswept sky. And as one stands at the summit, wind rushing across the plateau, gazing down at the rainbow unfolding across the rock, it becomes clear this is not merely a view, it is time, fossilized. From the fairy tale colored layers of Vinicunca, where time is etched in minerals and altitude brushes the edge of the clouds, Peru shifts its rhythm, unveiling a world shaped not by stone, but by moisture, flowing water, and the breath of the forest, Iquitos, the legendary capital of the Peruvian Amazon. tucked deep within an emerald sea of jungle and accessible only by air or river. Iquitos is not only the largest city in the world without a single road connecting it to the outside world, it is also a gateway into the pulsing heart of the Amazon rainforest. Here, instead of mountains painted in mineral hues, one finds the eternal green of life itself, of forests, rivers, rain, and countless unseen creatures stirring beneath a canopy that never sleeps. Iquitos is one of Peru's most important river ports, at the confluence of the Nanay and Ataya rivers, and the largest inland city in the world inaccessible by road. Surrounded by vast rainforest and mighty rivers, the city remains almost entirely cut off from the outside world. With a population of over 422,000, Iquitos has long been home to indigenous peoples and nomadic hunter-gatherer communities who have lived along the riverbanks for thousands of years, long before European missionaries first arrived. In the early 19th century, the city began to attract waves of immigrants, drawn by the booming global demand for rubber. Among the thousands who came from across the globe, most were young, able-bodied men lured by dreams of wealth and prosperity. Many of them stayed. They became merchants, bankers, and landowners, married local women, and spent the rest of their lives in this vast landscape of rivers and rainforest. These immigrants helped shape the cultural fabric of Iquitos, bringing with them elements of European style in architecture, clothing, music, and art. Fueled by rubber, the city flourished for decades, basking in an era of opulence and elegance. After 1912, however, the rubber industry collapsed. Production plummeted, and the prosperity of Iquitos began to fade. Today, remnants of that golden age still linger, ornate Italian-style mansions, the once bustling riverfront promenade, and the Iron House, a structure famously attributed to Gustave Eiffel. Yet much of this grandeur is fading as the city's former glory slowly slips into memory. In its place, Iquitos today is better known for its stilt houses and floating neighborhoods, improvised shelters perched on spindly wooden poles or floating on the water. Many areas lack electricity or clean water. The main modes of transport are motorcycles and motocarros, a kind of motorized rickshaw with a cabin for passengers. To newcomers, the chaotic driving style of the locals can be a shock. Traffic signals are often ignored, and the roads operate on instinct more than rules. In 2012, Iquitos welcomed about 250,000 visitors. Most came not for the city itself, but for what lies beyond, the endless allure of the Amazon rainforest. High in the Andean highlands lies one of the most breathtaking natural wonders near Cusco, Humante Lake, a hidden jewel cradled beneath the snow-capped peaks of the Peruvian Andes. Nestled at an altitude of around 13,800 feet, the lake sits at the foot of Mount Humante, radiating a beauty that feels both ancient and otherworldly. Formed by glacial meltwater from the eternally snow-covered peaks above, the lake is a pool of crystal-clear, ice-cold water, fed by the purest source nature can offer. Its distinct turquoise hue is the result of mineral-rich sediments dissolved in the water, amplified by the reflection of the high-altitude sky. When sunlight strikes its surface, the lake transforms into a living mirror, shifting from emerald green to deep sapphire blue, shimmering with an ethereal glow. To the Quechua people, Humante is sacred ground. It is the site of the traditional Pago a la Pachamama, an offering ritual to honor Mother Earth. Pilgrims bring coca leaves, flowers, and chicha, fermented corn drink, as offerings, seeking blessings for good harvests and spiritual harmony. The lake is surrounded by a vibrant high-altitude ecosystem, home to native bird species, hardy Andean flora, and alpine grasses unique to the region. Though the 1.5 to 2 hour uphill hike to reach the lake is demanding, it rewards every traveler with a view pulled straight from legend. Towering behind the lake, Mount Salcantay rises like a guardian spirit, creating a surreal backdrop that humbles all who witness it. Humante is more than a scenic destination. It is a place where humans reconnect with the sacred landscape of the ancient Andes, a silent sanctuary where the spirit of the mountains still listens. From the turquoise waters of Humante, the journey seems to have just brushed the outer layer of Peru, a land in constant metamorphosis. Each bend in the trail brings a new revelation. Some places feel as ancient as stone, others pulse with the beat of drums deep in the forest. Traces of vanished civilizations, sacred peaks still named in whispered prayers, in stories that ride the mountain wind. Peru does not reveal itself all at once. It unfolds in layers, in breaths, as if time itself were telling the tale. And what lies ahead will keep the eyes wide open and the heart spellbound.